Welcome to
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
If you have questions or comments, we have multiple ways we can be reached. Twitter is, of course, the best way for those that need instant gratification, and the show's Twitter feed is at SKiMPod, SKiMPod.
Stays Crunchy.
For the more patient amongst you, the email address for the show is podcast@stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Crunchy again being spelled with a K.
Crunchy.
Hey, feel free to give us a call at 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311.
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
We're available by Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, anywhere fine podcasts are available. And of course, it's the website, stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share wherever possible, including on YouTube, where we can now be found at Stays Crunchy. And over on Twitch, we're still Stays Crunchy and Milk. Our personal Twitters are
Tatum 216,
Lunchbox 2099.
And I'm your host, the internet's Tayrell 713.
Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy.
Angela Bassett not winning the Academy Award this past Sunday makes me not love Everything Everywhere All at Once as much as I do. I love that movie. I love the movie, but that pisses me off that they fucking disrespecting Angela Bassett by not giving her award that they should have gave her for What's Love Got to Do with it. They definitely should have gave her for Wakanda Forever.
and Malcolm X, probably.
Well, yeah, so forth and so on. It's like all these movies that she should have been nominated and awarded for, and it bothered me that they don't do that. And then there was did I see you that TikTok? This lady was reading this Entertainment Weekly article about.
Oh, you might have. I haven't checked
It's okay.
that out.
Yeah, it's Entertainment Weekly does these articles, and they interviewed a Academy voter, but they let him be incognito, basically. You know what I'm saying? They let it be anonymous.
Like the dudes that tell the tales about magic.
I guess so. We'll be in that vein. But he was just letting it all fly and basically like, I don't fuck with the Woman King and or Viola Davis because she thinks she should win. So that's why I wasn't making sure they voted. And that one girl who they said they fucked around with and kind of got her and kind of forced her to get a nomination. I mean, maybe she's more interested or whatever. It was basically just so much racism, sexism, and everything else ism in that article. And this is a voting actor. So this is somebody who actually is somebody in Hollywood who is an actor. And that's how he has his voting power, because you either have won one or you have been enough
nominated.
Shit or nominated, to become an Academy member. And I'm like, bitch, what? And it just was like it was upsetting. Let me see I wonder if I can find, if I'm talking about, I should probably have the article to put in the show notes. Yeah, like everybody, I didn't realize so many people got into it. This particular article is from the AV Club, formerly the Onion AV Club. Anonymous Oscar ballot unmasked the Academy. One anonymous actor telling the Woman King team to sit down, shut up, and relax suggests an insidious attitude inside of the Academy. This is Mary Kate Carr, again, like I told you, at the AV Club. And see if I can find you some of these choice little quotes. What did he said something? In fact, you know what the thing about? He said something whack about Jamie Lee Curtis. He said basically Jamie Lee Curtis only got nominated because she took her girdle off and showed people her belly, showed people her fat belly, and I'm like, y'all wild. So it's like that dude. He was on one, man. So, but it's the undercurrent of racism in the actor's remark that seemed to be most revealing about the Academy. As much as the institution has paid lip service to diversifying itself in the past few years, the nominations still skew largely white and male, with no black artists in major categories like lead actor, actress, directing, cinematography, etc. If the Academy reflect the perspective of the institution, and the institution is a given, an anonymous voice in the actor, the Academy has bent over backwards to be inclusive, he complains. Last year, there were more black people presenting. This is what he's arguing is bending over backwards, having more black people present. It's like that shit. Like I said, if I can find you the whole article, I'll give you that, but also will give you the link to this particular one. That shit was a wow. It's like, man. And so it just seems it seems like what we've been saying forever is, honest to God, kind of true. These motherfuckers is racist, and they don't respect people of color in most situations. And so I'm just like, yes, it's just it's the wackest, man.
Yeah, I kind of feel like when I never forget when it was a work situation and one of my partner's co-workers, they were talking about the Trayvon Martin case, which you shouldn't be talking about that shit at work anyway. And then like one of her coworkers like this is when I guess the decision came down. She was like, wasn't that years ago? Like just flipping about it. I'm like, it seems like their attitude towards anything that's not in their direct purview is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the subject matter is. It's like it's multifaceted hatred. And like it was just like it's almost like laughable at this point. Not quite yet. But almost it's just like, oh, that again. Oh, that's what it is again. And yeah, I didn't watch the Oscars. Like I checked my feed later on, but it's just like I don't the Oscars and the Grammys, I don't really it's just not something I really watch or care to watch anymore.
Somebody said all of Black Hollywood should just on that night just go hang out at Quincy Jones' house, have a big old party, and just don't even show up at the Oscars no more. No matter what, even if they nominated, just be like, fuck it, I'll be over here kicking it with my people. And I'm just like, that's kind of real.
Yeah, and it, like Denzel and Spike Lee were at the game right down the street with each other. What? Yeah, not fucking with it.
Yeah, being absolutely unbothered. And I shouldn't be. I just feel like it's disrespectful to Angela Bassett. And I was like, and then people was talking about like, well, not people. It was just one woman who wrote Angela Bassett should learn to be respectful or whatever the fuck because she didn't, I guess, look celebratory when Jamie Lee Curtis won. And I'm like, what the fuck is she supposed to do, bro?
It's okay to be disappointed and shit. Like, you know, it was tough. She and many other people thought she should win, and then even on the stage, Michael B. Jordan was like, "Hey, auntie," give her a little nod to her. So, yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna read you this actor's this is the one that had people really up in arms. This is like, so basically they're doing secret nominations. They're talking to actor or director or marketer and actor, director, marketer, and a costume designer about the nominations. And the question here is how Academy members feel about Andrea Riseborough. That's the lady who got nominated but shouldn't have got nominated. Definitely shouldn't have got nominated. Basically, that was just somebody saying, "Ooh, we should nominate her," and motherfuckers took that to heart. Oscar nomination and accusations of the Academy shutting out Black women. So this is a real particular question. And the actor says, "I feel like anything goes. All's fair in love and war. I thought she gave a great performance. It was very much for your consideration, like what's going to win me an Oscar. It had all the check boxes through it, and it seemed to be pandering a bit, so that bugged me. The ending was terrible. Good for them. They went about it and got her a nomination. I'm sure other people were equally doing political maneuvering behind the scenes. They just didn't get caught. If it hadn't been for Viola Davis being mad she wasn't nominated, I don't think anybody would have questioned it. It's ridiculous. It's sour grapes. The Academy has bent over backwards to be inclusive. Last year, there were more black people presenting. It's like, come on. I think Viola Davis is talented. I didn't see Woman King, so this motherfucker talking shit about a movie he didn't see. But I'm a little tired of Viola Davis and her snotty crying. I'm over all of that. I'm willing to believe that Andrea Riseborough gave a better performance. Danielle Deadwyler was so pandering until for an Academy Award nomination. She was good. I mean, who wouldn't be good in a part like that? The strong, wronged mother. But you look at the real Marnie Till, she's not wearing all those incredible gowns and beautifully made up. I thought it was a confusing message. If they really made a movie that about that woman who was not used to being in the public eye and wore house dresses, she wouldn't have had one incredible outfit after another. The ego behind this pushing her to be a movie star was too blatant for me. So he managed to be both racist and sexist all in one go on that shit. This is whack to me, man.
So what movie did what's her name? Andrea Rosenborough?
Yeah.
Riseborough? What did she get nominated for? Because she's in two movies that I know that were out this year that were I guess that were celebrated with either What Remains or Amsterdam.
To Leslie apparently is the name of the film. To Leslie, a 2022 American independent drama directed by Michael Morris in his feature directorial debut. From a screenplay by Ryan Bianco, the film stars Andrea Riseborough as Leslie Rowland, a single mother and alcoholic who squanders all the prize money she received after winning the lottery. She soon finds the chance to redeem herself when a motel owner offers her a job. Allison Janney, Mark Maron, Andrea Arroyo, Owen T, and Stephen Root are featured in supporting roles. To Leslie premiered at South by Southwest March 12, 2022, and was given limited release on October 7, 2022 by Momentum Picture. The film received critical acclaim, with Risenborough's performance garnering widespread praise and a nomination for Academy Awards for Best Actress.
Well, she's had what seems like a hell of a year. She was in 4 different films this year. I know. I don't know. I haven't seen any of them, but I'm to the point where it's like I try to watch movies now, but I just don't have the. I don't make the time to watch them.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to just pull up the bandwidth. It's like it's a movie that I definitely want to see, and Box gave me the damn Amazon password, so I can watch it, and I've yet to give it the time to sit down and watch it. But
what movie is that?
It's Alison Brie, and I forgot who her husband's name is.
Yeah, the Dave Franco movie that he directed.
Dave Franco, yeah, that movie.
I did the time to watch that movie. I like that movie a lot.
My man from Insecure in it and shit.
Yeah.
So and got a bunch of people I fuck with in it.
And Krunchy Clemens is in that movie. It's a pretty good movie. Like that movie does those kind of movies, like a romantic comedy, doesn't really take a lot of. You can watch it passively.
It don't take effort.
Yeah,
you can kind of groove to it. I hear you.
And
I just need to sit and click it on, and I probably will. Like last night. We'll get to it. Let me get a show started. We'll just head on down the rabbit hole forever if I don't get it started. But I got put on by DJ Polo, cut the record. It's a demo, and started chilling in limos with champagne and tinted windows. Hopping, no time for pain, sporting gold chains and rings. Clocking money and fame, nothing changed. I'm still the same. Just spending 20s and 10s at women's, pulling on my linen, then grinning because I was winning in this game from the beginning. The lyrical skills was kind of ill, gave you a slight chill, so I just let the hype build. Known for rappers run with go right wheels, and turn from a hobo to a solo posing for photos. Though my dough used to be low, now I puff on cigars and blow O's. So catch a flashback of a G-rap track, attack like a head crack, get smacked through your cap with the lead black, and hear a new cut for poo butt rappers hanging from off my two nuts like they was put there by members of the Ku Klux. So peep cool G-rap, don't sleep, money unless it's with your girl. Straight up, kid, I'm blowing up in the world. Hello and welcome to it. It's Stay Scratch Your Milk, Cleveland's longest running podcast until somebody proves different. It's episode 486. And we're the 4th generation of binary compatible CPUs. I'm your host, Terror713. Joined as always by my best friend, Big Anthony, Tatum 216. What's hood?
Hey, what's going on?
Absolutely nothing.
Until I guess I should put this on my where we can put our name on here. I am going back to until our anniversary. I'm gonna bring back Animal Thug, Anthony Animal Thug Tatum.
Puts respect on his name, people. Those lyrics are hard to spit. That is Cool G Rap, blowing up in the world, off his album 456. And the reason I chose those lyrics is because it samples heavily What You Won't Do for Love by one Bobby Caldwell. And so I'm gonna give you just a little something by Bobby Caldwell, and we'll head on out. Robert Hunter Caldwell, better known as Bobby Caldwell, was one of those guys with an open invitation at the barbecue because somebody was gonna end up playing one of his songs. And somebody would end up saying, he white. And folk would be like, what? Hell no. But What You Want to Do for Love, Open Your Eyes, My Flame, these joints was going to get some burn. And they're just wonderful songs by a real amazing artist. He has been sampled and covered hundreds of times. And in my opinion, he was and shall remain loved and will certainly be missed. R.I.P. Bobby Caldwell. I bet you wonder where I've been. I searched to find a love within. It's like, I can't understand or express to you how amazing that song is. And if you look at the lyrics, you'd be like, is that it? It's just a few words. It's honestly got just a few words, but it's the musicality of that song and everything else that comes with it. And like so many covers of it. I went and listened to a bunch of covers of it tonight to see who had the one that was doing it the most. And I will tell you, let me just jump over here right quick. The person I think was doing it the most was Snow Allegra and Phyllis Hyman. I would say to go look up their versions of Do for Love. Well, Do for Love is Snow Allegra's version. Do the number 4 Love. And What You Would Want to Do for Love is what Phyllis Hyman's is. And Phyllis Hyman's has got a real groovy kind of sound to it. And I would tell you right now, that's the one. Those are the two that could compete sort of on some level with the Bobby Caldwell original.
Phyllis Hyman is is a wonderful artist. Rest in peace to her, going too soon. Check on your strong friends. I remember my mom listening to Phyllis Hyman a lot, and I didn't know that when I first heard about her, I just thought, oh, she's just but she had been in the game at that point 4 decades.
Yeah.
Like Phyllis Hyman, started off in the 70s. I just went down the Phyllis Hyman rabbit hole not too long ago. So.
Right on. Bobby Caldwell, man, just to, delve a little bit into my man's whatever, got started out playing guitar for Little Richard, which I think is so dope. And eventually, he just kind of went off and became more of a session musician and so forth. Through just dumb luck, through his mama being a real estate agent, I guess. Mm-hmm. He's how he met Bob Marley and kind of first got into music because they became tight.
Wow.
It's like Bobby Caldwell had a good and interesting and cool life. Far too young, 71 in my opinion, far too young to be going on to glory. But man, like I said, it's all right guy, man. And there's so many songs that he, like I said, you probably heard sample or that you just enjoyed and so forth and so on. And it's that shit, man. And Bobby Caldwell, rest in peace. Phyllis Hyman, rest in peace. It's been too much RIP in lately on this program, and I'm sad to say we had to add another one. And Bobby Caldwell, and well, that just kind of stinks, man. We are short one Dan this week because Dan is in the midst of some real shitty 2023 luck. One of his tenants / roomies caught the Rona, and therefore he had to go quarantine elsewhere to keep safe and not catch the Rona himself. And that blows. So he couldn't jump on tonight because he don't know his parents' internet situation and all that. Plus, they trying to record around people. It's difficult to record because people always be interested in that boy. People who never listen to the show once will be like, "What the fuck is what we doing over here?" Though they'll be all up in it if they get the chance, all up in the video, so forth and so on. But at last check, Daniel was all good and safe, and I believe we are all well and good on that in that regard. But just like I said, that stinks. So of course, keep them in your thoughts and send them some love. Yeah, it's all to the good. As for are we Cleveland's longest running podcast, our former host Wade reached out to me and was like, "Hey man, I think y'all might be Cleveland's longest running podcast." And I'm like, seems not possible till I go and start digging. And it got more and more possible as I kept going along there. It's not that we were the first ever to do it in Cleveland, but we still do it. Started doing it and kept doing it. And we got people the closest one I've seen is somebody who was like 120 episodes less than us. And so I'm like, I'm laying claim to it. And like I said, until somebody tell me to the contrary, Cleveland's longest running podcast right here, bitches. Take it and leave it. Take it and run with it. In fact, I can imagine. I can tell my mama that, or my mama will hear it because my mama, as it turns out, listens to the show pretty regular now, which I don't know what to do with. Thank you, mama. I love you. So, but yeah, man, I like that idea. I like that deal, especially because, like I said, we pushing on 10 years And I've been trying, people. Don't get it twisted. I have been doing my best to make it a point to reach out to other local Cleveland podcasts to see if we could just get some talking. Just show love, get some interaction going. Things I probably should have been doing, let's go with 5, at least 6 years back. But I don't know. Tian is a grown man in 2023, and we're going to work through it, and it'll be okay. But I have one singular news story for you. It's not even a news story. It's a little fun something. And go, and I guess I go. I ain't really got a lot to say, you people. So we'll keep it up. We'll wrap up, and we'll have some good conversation. Worry not. Thank you for joining us on this mission. The first story is literally, it is 20 touristy things in Cleveland that every local should do at least once. And the byline says scene staff. So everybody over there at Cleveland Scene wrote on this one. Whether you have a free weekend, have visitors staying with you, or are doing a staycation, there are surely things in your own city that you haven't done. These 20 tourist attractions are actually worthy of doing at least once in your life. First up, explore the Cleveland Museum of Art. Cannot recommend this highly enough. We have a pretty good repository of art and so forth at our art museum. It's massive. It's free to get in. You got to pay to park. And if you park on the street, not really even then. But well worth it. It's a lot of cool things in our art museum. Like from all over time too. It's like got some Egyptian shit in there. We got a whole mummy. Is it a mummy in that bitch or just a sarcophagus?
I think it might be both.
Okay.
It's funny, like not so long ago we were in our Zoom meeting, and my background of my Zoom, it used to be, because I try to change it every once in a while, was a picture I took at the art museum. And our boss that we talked about a couple weeks ago, was that last week we talked about?
It was last week.
He was like, "What's that?" And I was like, that's the art museum picture I took while I was there. He's like, "That's really cool. Never got to go." And I was like, "Man, you a dad. I understand why you don't get to go yet." Yeah.
That is a place I have not been to. The last time I went to, I mean, I realized technically, because me and Melissa aren't married, so technically we were always dating, but it was early-ish in our dating that we went to the art museum, and I ain't been back in a while. Xander goes regularly with his lady. They go to the art museum and just kick it, and I'm like, that's kind of dope. So,
yeah, it's definitely a place to go with people who enjoy going. It's not a place to go with
people who don't.
Yes.
Yeah. It is. I would tell you right now, if you are a single and ready to mingle, that is a good second, third date option. If you like Anthony says, if you know they would appreciate it. So if they really would appreciate it, second date. If they kind of would appreciate it, third, maybe fourth. It's kind of fun. Plus, then you can go out to eat. There's some dope restaurants over in that general area too. So a lot of popping in that general area of town. Well, I guess I should read you what they say instead of telling you what we say. One of the best museums around sits on East Boulevard, just waiting for you. Visitors make it a point to go there, so why not you? Whether it's a regular on your social calendar or a stubborn item on your to-do list, the world-renowned collection spans continents and eras, from the Italian Renaissance to modern, from ancient Greece to Africa and to African and more. Obviously, always more. Spend a day getting lost and don't miss the Monet. It's a Monet there. There's the Thinker statue out front that was blown up once by a mad bomber. Lots of cool things. I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of history.
It's a very famous picture that I had only seen in books. It's called The Fighter. We have that painting there, and I was just like,
is it on loan or is it ours? Or is it a part of their collection?
It was part of their collection. I mean,
that's dope.
Who knows? I'm not going to even. I ain't gonna even start like, oh yeah, we only got it for this. I don't know that. All I know is I've seen that picture for many years, and like to see a picture in real life that you've only seen in books and movies and shit like that was kind of touching. It was just like, I've seen this picture for years.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a couple of the pictures that I took from there.
Cool. And I will remember I told you patrons, you get these episodes early now. I will spice it up by throwing you some of Anthony's photos of the Cleveland Art Museum. See, just a few little bonus tweakles for you. Next up, visit the Cultural Gardens. Take a walk through Cleveland's famed Cultural Gardens on the city's east side. Yeah, you've driven down through them down MLK a million times, but you can't enjoy them going 25 miles per hour using your phone. Mobile History Cleveland will guide you through the gardens and their history. Download the app, which is complete with oral histories, images, and text stories about our city. Cultural gardens are amazing. They are exactly what you think they are. There's a garden for not every, but many a nation. And so you go down through there and there's like something that represents that nation, a statue, a bust, some other work of art. And, apparently you pair it with this app and you could have a real good time. The Dietrich Museum of Medical History. This is at 11000 Euclid Ave. Part of Case Western Reserve University, the Dietrich Museum of Medical History was established all the way back in 1898. The museum takes visitors through the modern medical history and how hospitals in Cleveland played a part. A hidden gem that routinely makes the guides for out-of-towners. It's something you should do too. That's pretty kick-ass. I did not know that was there. Visit the Dunham Tavern. The oldest building in Cleveland is the Dunham Tavern, which was built in 1824 and opened as a tavern and a bar. The home was turned into the Dunham Tavern Museum in 1941 and added to the National Registry of Historic Places in 1974. Make a stop and visit one of the oldest things in the city you call home. Of course, visit Edgewater Park. I chuckle because not in the far too distant past, the state of Ohio is who ran Edgewater Park, which is a park on Lake Erie, the coast of Lake Erie. And it was, to put it mildly, disgusting. The water was gross. The beach was gross. Nothing was taken care of. That is because most things at the state level in the state of Ohio and regarding Northeast Ohio, the state just does not even attempt to take care of. They just leave us fending for ourselves, and it sucks. But we also have up here what's the Cleveland Metro Park System and the Emerald Necklace, which is a bunch of parks and forests and so forth and so on. And the city of Cleveland and the county, Cuyahoga County, took over Edgewater Park, cleaned it up, built some new structures, new bathrooms and so forth and so on. Really kitted that bitch out, and it be popping at Edgewater. They have events there during the summer, drinking events and so forth. People and music events and so they have some things you can rent supplies like kayaks or surfboards and so forth and so on. It's well taken care of. They keep the beach pretty well manicured now. They built stuff. There's an upper and lower level to Edgewater Park, and so they keep it pretty well manicured upstairs, up the hill and down the hill. It's a real great space to go kick it at from what was once just honestly got covered in needles and bird shit.
And
so
condoms.
the fact that, and the fact they take such good care of it now, because the city and the county took it over from the state who would never give a damn, just makes for a great time. But again, let me read what they're saying about it. And that is, Cleveland Metro Park's Edgewater Park is great for those beautiful summer afternoons, fall mornings, spring evenings, winter days. Yes, it's a year-round joy. Pack a picnic, soak up the weather, and just check out the beautiful skyline in the picture postcard worthy for good reasons. Telling you right now, you can go fishing there. People, there's a big old just land. The people be out there flying kites. People out there barbecuing. There's a huge track that goes all the way around the park. You can go run and walk and exercise. There's exercise stops all around it. There's a yacht club just to the side of it that you probably have to be a member of. But if you are, you know what I'm saying, go hop on a boat and kick it out. It's wonderful. It's one of those things I really appreciate about the city I call home. Tour a Christmas Story house. Christmas Story house will remain a cult classic, and Cleveland's contribution to Hollywood holiday movie canon is as enjoyable as ever. You might not get the treasured Red Rider under the Christmas tree. You might not get what you asked for at all, but a Christmas Story never disappoints. And this is one of the tourist attractions you should absolutely check off your list. Have you ever been to that Christmas Story house?
I have driven past it, but no, I have never been to it.
Honestly, a delight.
I'll have to do it. I think we didn't watch the new one that just recently came out, but maybe this year we'll watch it beforehand.
Yeah.
Because right now, like we watch for every holiday, which we'll talk about more in my segment. We watch almost every Rankin and Bass film, like because
Okay.
there's one for every holiday.
Yeah. Nice.
It's one I need to purchase. I think it's called Here Comes Peter Cottontail or something like that. I
Yeah.
need to get that. And like I said, we'll talk about that more in my section.
Very good. It's fun. It's basically a it's just a Cleveland style house, believe me. But basically, they have like stuff in the kitchen that is old that would have been from that era. You get to go upstairs and downstairs and check the rooms out and so forth. It's neat. And they had, I don't know, they had a cool little gift shop where yes, indeed, you could walk away with a Red Ryder BB gun if you were so inclined. The Warner and Swazi Observatory. I don't know where this is at. Also at 1100 Euclid Boulevard. So what is popping off at Case Western? Originally located on North Taylor in East Cleveland, the Warner and Swazi Observatory was built in 1919 and was once a scientific landmark. Due to rising light pollution of the city, the observatory was shut down in 1980 and moved from its original location to the Case Western Reserve campus, where the telescope is today. Visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I've never thought about going to the Pro Football. You ever been there?
In Canton?
Yeah.
No, I have not. But yet again, this is a great list of stuff I know I want to do. Canton's not far.
Yeah.
I bought my car from Canton.
Football is synonymous with Northeast Ohio, and Canton being the birthplace of the sport, there's no better place to visit than the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The iconic building and repository of the sport's history is just a short jump down I-77, and the complex is in the midst of a massive expansion, meaning there's plenty to do for everyone. So there you go. That's cool. Take a tour of Great Lakes Brewing Co. and have a pint. I've done those. I have not taken a tour, but I have had a pint. I've eaten there. I've drank beer there. I've not done the tour, but that'd be kind of nice to see how they brew beer and so forth. Craft brew. Oh, go on.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I've had beer from there before, but I have never took a tour.
Yeah. The craft brew renaissance in Cleveland began with the Conway brothers in 1988 and continues unabated today. Great Lakes is the anchor of the Ohio City Brewing District, responsible for Christmas Ale, of course, and a local name known and respected around the country. Take a tour of the brewing facilities and see how it's done. At the film festival Vanessa was in, because they had beverages on deck. They had several Great Lakes beers, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's dope that my city represents." This is another one I'm about to get excited for. Don't sleep on it. Take a tour on the Good Time 3. You can brush it off as lame if you want. It's not, but you're hard pressed to find a better day-long tour of some of the city's finest sites. You've probably never seen Cleveland from these angles. Plus, the tour will fill you in on all sorts of historical tidbits along the way. I'm going to tell you this right now. The Good Time 3 is a bargain at twice the price. It is so dope. It takes you on a cruise down the Cuyahoga River quite a bit, as a matter of fact. So you get to go, if you live in Cleveland and you've driven over the Cuyahoga River or been next to it, just walk next to it, to get on that river and see everything from that perspective, that angle, go under the bridges and see what's going on underneath all these large bridges we have in town. And then, hook out, because we get to go out onto Lake Erie itself for a little bit and kind of hang out on the lake and then swing it back in and come back in to support. It's fantastic. Get it on a nice sunny day. There's a bar. There's a bar on the boat. They have like a snack bar, decent food. You know what I'm saying? Nothing fantastical. Vanessa's dad got married on that boat. Now, mind you, he was divorced probably a week and a half later. But what is one to do about that? It's not the boat's fault. That's his fault. So that it is really amazing. I've ridden that boat a couple of times. It is always like I keep saying what I want to do is pay for their 4th of July cruise, because they'll take you out to that lake and you can watch the fireworks from out there on the boat. And I want to do that, and I just haven't came out. I always forget, and then it gets around the time, and I'm like, that shit probably sold out forever ago. But consider it.
I think I might consider that, because I love 4th of July.
Same.
And I think I do think it's kind of pointless to go watch fireworks, but my partner likes it.
Yeah.
I am a firework doer. I like getting a box, and doing it illegally in the front yard. And the kids get sparklers and all that kind of stuff. But she loves to go see it, so I think that can kind of, kill two birds with one stone. Actually, not be crowded, because it is a spectacle to me.
Yes. It is a challenge to find and get parking in the areas that you need to be in this town to see the fireworks. But to buy a ticket at the, for the good time, I wouldn't doubt if it came with a parking voucher and so forth. Hey, man, can't go wrong with it. Here's the one that I've noticed that has come about in recent years, and that's the kayak down the Cuyahoga River. I can ride the good time down the Cuyahoga River. I ain't trying to get no little boat on the Cuyahoga River, man.
I agree.
But yes, kayak down the Cuyahoga River, Cleveland's history is dominated by the river from its city's inception to present day. And there's no better way to see the city from ground level than to wind from the flats under the bridges and toward Valley View in a canoe. It's a top 5 to-do item for out-of-town visitors. You should join them. On this note, we disagree. Visit Lakeview Cemetery. The final resting place of John D. Rockefeller, Elliot Ness, Revolutionary War soldiers, Ray Chapman, and more famous and influential people than we have time to name. Lakeview Cemetery is also, of course, home to the President Garfield Memorial. The view from the second floor balcony is one of the most majestic and underrated in the whole city. The walk around the grounds is amazing, and the property is basically a history of the city's most notable folks. Chances are good you've been meaning to go and have never been. Fix that this year. At the gig, for a while there, every summer we would have like basically a week or whatever. We'd be like, let's get out of this office and go see some of the city and take a tour. And we went over to Lakeview. Is that Lakeview Cemetery or is that a different cemetery?
It might be. And
the one downtown.
Didn't I recently send you those pictures? No, I sent you the pictures of us in the cafeteria. But I got those pictures too. When we went on the walk, it was Employee Appreciation Week. Okay. And I think we went on walk and we met Harry Boomer. We see Harry Boomer while we were going on the walk.
My man, drop a dime on him.
Drop a dime on that fool.
Well, either way, it was either Lakeview Cemetery or just another cemetery of downtown Cleveland, which is quite possible because it's that kind of city. And it's a vibe if you are into that kind of stuff. I'm not really a big fan of hanging out in cemeteries, but maybe you are. So that's what's up. Cleveland's historic League Park. Cy Young threw out the first pitch when League Park opened at the corner of Lexington and East 66. The Tribe won the 1920 World Series there. Babe Ruth hit his 500th home run in the park. That's wild. I didn't know that much history was there. Though it was mostly torn down in 1951, the city refurbished the fields for youth play, and a small but dynamite museum offers the chance to learn about the pros and amateurs who once walked the grounds. That's very cool. Go to Cedar Point. Voted the best music park in America on a regular basis. It's the roller coaster capital of the world. It's right down I-90. Even if you don't love blood-curdling rides and skyscraper-tall roller coasters, Cedar Point has something for you, even if it's just the merry-go-round. I went to Cedar Point once my entire life. It was 2 days after I arrived in Cleveland back in 1988. I'm sure it's great. It's not really anything I'm out on the hunt for. This is a fun one. Visit the National Cleveland Style Polka Hall of Fame and Museum. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame isn't the only musical Hall of Fame in Cleveland. Yes, we have a Hall of Fame dedicated to Cleveland style polka music, the happiest sound around. The National Cleveland Style Polka Hall of Fame was founded in 1987 by musicians and leaders of the Slovenian and ethnic organizations. The museum traces the story of the city's homegrown sound from its roots in the old Slovenian neighborhoods to nationwide popularity with audio exhibits, historic photographs, and original instruments. The archive preserves 6,000 vintage recordings dating back to 1913. If you live in Cleveland, you know somebody of Eastern European descent because it's just how the city has grown. and you probably have heard a polka or two in your day, get down with some polka music. It's always fun. Spend a day at the Rock Hall. I got to sign off on this one. It really is kind of amazing. I don't think people understand how really good it is if you live here. You just think, I'll get to it eventually. Make eventually this weekend or sometime during spring break if your kids are out of school. My kids out of school this week. So because it's really is something great. This is what they wrote about it. Bitch about who's inducted and who's not if you want. That's half the fun. But you can't take anything from the stunning, unparalleled collection of rock history sitting in the Glass Pyramid by Lake Erie. Is like a top 3 item for people visiting Cleveland, and the look on their faces says it's been many, many years since your last visit. It's an IMP design of structure. If you look at it from above, it looks like a record player or a turntable, which of course I love. Go to the Rock Hall.
Yeah, the Rock Hall is one of my favorite places that I don't get to visit because, like I said, it's a place to go. That if it's a place that you enjoy, sometimes it isn't to be shared with everyone.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just for you, and that's okay too. Eat at Slyman's. There are plenty of food-centric tourist lists and there's a good chance most of them will point you towards Slyman's. But you live here. When's the last time you stepped through those doors and had heaven on a plate? I don't think I've ever been to Slyman's. I've had Slyman's delivered at work, and I've had a pretty substantial turkey sandwich from them.
Yes.
A lot of meat. They really they don't fool around. So, I mean, I've had it. It's good food. That's about that. I don't know if you need to go there, but they seem to think you should. So, hey, follow suit. This I swear by. Hands down. Look out from the Terminal Tower observation deck. The observation deck of Terminal Tower is only open a few days a year. Bummer. But the views from atop Cleveland's most iconic skyscraper is simply breathtaking. The 30-mile view was unavailable for 9 years after 9/11 and renovations of the building, but check in periodically for open hours because there's nothing quite like this view. It is rare that they open it up. But when they do, it's like $2 or something like that. Who knows? Inflation is weird and it might be $5 now or something like that. But it's dirt cheap. You get to go all the way to the base, not to the tippy top, because it's just how the structure is built. But they have this beautiful observation deck up there that is as old as the building itself. So it's in that style of 1920s, 19 teens and so forth. And it's like basically it's almost a full 360 around the deck, so you can look out over everything, and it's amazing. Go do that. That I can recommend. I cannot recommend highly enough. The observation deck of Terminal Tower is something fantastic, even for a guy like me who's afraid of heights.
Yeah, it's I remember we used to have like I guess it was like a Cleveland Day. This was obviously like it was way after 9/11, but like everything was free in Cleveland that day. And like you got to do all sorts of stuff downtown, and that was like the first time I ever got to do that.
Nice. I love it. Oh my goodness. This one Ant does regularly enough. Visit the Natural History Museum.
Yes.
In the midst of a massive expansion project, the Cleveland Museum of Natural History is somehow a hidden gem in University Circle. See the museum's wildlife. Check out the exhibits of the world around you, and go and visit Balto. Sundays are free for residents of Cleveland and East Cleveland. As a reminder, you just have to secure your spot ahead of time.
Yeah, it's right now under construction, so we haven't been in a few months, and the boys keep on asking like, "Can we go to the History Museum?" I'm like, "It's not done yet. As soon as it's done, we'll be back." But what we have been doing is, I'm pretty much every time we go on vacation, we go to a History Museum throughout the United States, pretty much. Like,
nice.
We went to Columbus. Columbus also, had some great stuff. Chicago, DC. I'm probably Pennsylvania. I'm probably missing some other places, but
if you're there and they got a natural history museum, you and the boys and the lady go, and that's dope, man.
When we went to parent teacher conferences about a month ago, My oldest son teacher was like, "Y'all love birds, huh?" I'm like, "No." And she was like, "Anthony was saying how you guys went to like been to some aviaries." And I'm like, "Yeah, we have, but we don't really love birds. Like, we just try to get some stuff done with the kids." But yeah, so
Krunchy, y'all love some birds, don't you, nigga?
yeah, and his only Anthony's teacher allowed to use that word.
This one, the last one says, Take a Hike Walking Tour. A program of the historic Gateway Neighborhood Corporation, Take a Hike, offers free guided walking tours of neighborhoods east to west, giving the lowdown on things you never knew you didn't know. Get out in the sun, get those legs moving, and learn about the city you call home. What I'm going to add to this list that I feel like they should have had on this list is go to the downtown Heinens.
Oh yeah,
It used to be Society Bank, which is now, of course, Key Bank, and it's one of the most beautiful structures in this town. And you go in there, and it has this gorgeous Tiffany glass ceiling, these weird paintings that have been there since forever, depicting of the indigenous people of this area and so forth. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a pretty nice grocery store with some good ready to eat food, plus just some standard groceries if you are so inclined, and a real good beer and wine section, like massive beer and wine sections. You can really go show out there. Plus they have some wine and beer tastings, if I'm not mistaken, unless something has changed. Go kick it at the Heinens downtown. It's 9th and Euclid, and it's on the south side of the street, and it's well worth the visit. We used to go there. We recorded several shows there. So, yeah,
I mean, we didn't go there daily, but sometimes it was just like, fuck it, let's just go to Heinens.
Yeah, for sure. So
at least once a week.
Yeah, easily. It's a solid. It used to be a solid walk from where the office, and so you got out there, got a few steps in, and then you got to eat some decent food for a reasonable price. So, plus they had a hell of a bakery. Just go to Heinens.
Man,
I know it's weird to see you to a grocery store, but damn it, it's worth it. Trust me.
Man, I'll punch somebody for a snoogle right now. Those things are fucking incredible.
But that is your, we're going to throw quotes around it, news item for the week. And I'm going to hand the reins over to Ant. And first up, as always, is Tatum. Ant, man, what you got for the people?
So Easter is coming up. And I try to be, what I would say, original on what I put in the Easter basket, because, I mean, I don't be just trying to just give my kids just jelly beans and chocolate eggs and a bunny that they not gonna eat that's been in the refrigerator for a year. So, like, I'm trying to get that together. And as I spoke of in the last segment, I already have one thing I know I'm going to get them, because like we watch almost every Rankin and Bass movie. I think it started with Year Without a Santa Claus, because
nice.
The kids went ape shit over just the Heat Miser song.
Man, it bangs, man.
It is a good song. So I think that's where it. I mean, what am I talking about? It started with Rudolph. It started with Rudolph and stuff like that. But yeah, I gotta get the Easter version of it, and it's Here Comes Peter Cottontail. I'm going to get that. We also have been like real heavy on coloring books lately around here.
We were just talking about that. We talking about our experience of coloring books.
Yes,
but it's dope to know the boys is getting down with the get down.
Yeah, they've been fighting over it and shit. Like, oh no, you can't color that page. That's a page I want. Like, it's been some real loud bullshit about it, but like because like it'll be books like that have been around here for years.
Yeah,
and they wasn't ready for them or whatever have you. But it's just like it was a Spider-Man coloring book, which legit could have been two copies of around here, but they seen it was like, oh man, I want to color Orange Spider. No, man, that's mine. Come on. And they'll just start tussling over it. And it's just like, my oldest son turned 8. I guess at this point it'd be almost a couple weeks ago, but when you hear it, it'd be a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And I bought him this book called, I forgot the name of it, but the concept of the book is these pictures throughout the book. And what you do is finish it. Like whatever picture you want is like, what kind of dragon are you going to slay? And you draw the dragon. Or these people are scared of this monster. Draw the monster. And my son he liked it because he's been on a drawing kick lately. Yeah. So my youngest son was like, I want to draw that picture. And I'm like, it's Anthony's book. We have to now keep in mind, ever since I was little, and I actually called my mother so she could tell Emery this story. When somebody has a birthday, everybody gets a present. Okay. It might not be on the magnitude of who has a birthday, but everybody gets a present. Mama got flowers and a bottle of wine. Emery got 11-inch Godzilla because he loves Godzilla, even though he's probably never ever seen a Godzilla. No, he has never seen a Godzilla movie before, but he likes Godzilla, so I bought him a Godzilla. Anthony got stuff and a beautiful present from T. Thank you again, T. So, when I was little, my mother said she bought my brother a helicopter. And I do remember these helicopters. And she was like, I got upset for her to be like, enough of she'd be like, oh man, I messed up. And she went wherever she was left and got me a helicopter too. She was like, I didn't want him to feel, just because this is Michael's birthday, I didn't want you to feel left out. Yeah. So that's something that I make sure I do as a parent as well, because that's what my mother did for me. That's what I want to do for my kids. So, but Emery wasn't trying to hear that shit. He was just like, look, I want that book. And I still haven't bought him one because he hasn't exhibited behavior to warrant him to have that book yet. I do believe in, doing what I'm supposed to do and try to keep things happy, but at the same time, it's like, you're not going to jack your brother in the face over a book and then think you're going to get it too. Like, you got to kind of scale it down. So, every day is an adventure with it, but, so yeah, I'm just going through trying to, not fly too close to the sun with the basket, but at the same time, get on some good stuff that's not all about candy. So yeah, I told them no more bubbles. Bubbles is over, because all they do is flat out pour them out. And we have a segmented driveway. They love building shit in the middle of the driveway, get some sticks and some leaves and stuff, and just watch the bubbles flow away. They do that every time. Or the other day, it was pretty nice in Cleveland. Not even, this was after school too. They did 5 minutes. It was a brand new bubble wand in the closet, and I turn around, I'm like, you got don't do something, or hand me your book bag, and the bubbles were already all gone, already spilled out. From the time I turned around and asked for your book bag, I was just like, just come in the house. So no more bubbles. So yeah, that's what we're going through right now, because we're not especially religious or anything like that, but just trying to get together a nice Easter basket for the kids. Yeah. And I don't know. I know we both did some churching when we were younger. What was some of your Easter memories that you can remember?
Bro, I always remember getting the Easter frock, as my mom would call it. You know what I'm saying? We get the dope little outfit.
Yeah.
And if I go look upstairs, I might be. It might be actually now. I think about it, might be one on my Instagram. Me in this like burgundy suit. But it was always that I didn't get a ton of like Easter baskets stuff like that there, but my mom's like heavy fucking jelly beans, which is why I fucking jelly beans. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yes. My main weakness, I still am upset that Gimbel's sour jelly beans, they don't make them anymore. Gimbel's is still a jelly bean company, but I believe Jelly Belly bought Gimbel's, and
Correct.
they still have the Gimbel's like regular jelly beans, but they don't make the sour ones anymore. And Jelly Belly's sour jelly beans aren't as good as Gimbel's, but yeah.
I just get the I try to get the Starburst sour joints when I see them.
I don't even think they make those no more.
Well, like I said, I don't do a lot of Easter shopping at this is gonna sound snooty. It's not meant to be. I don't do a lot of my Easter shopping at regular shit. I normally hit a World Market.
Mm-hmm.
I always manage to end up heading up to Canada around this time and snagging a bunch of legit Kinder eggs.
Okay.
Yeah. So I end up bringing home some of those Jones, and so it's like I get like little not fancy per se, but just international candy is what I end up doing. Because that way the candy they got is really good and rich and nice, but it's unique as fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that I mean, yeah, I grab some jelly beans and all that shit. Like at this point, my kids are teenagers. Lee just want to get his nose pierced, and I'm like, you good? That's your Easter. That's what you want for Easter? Easy.
A basket of pain.
Yeah. So I gotta give him a little something. You know how we roll. So I'm probably gonna end up with just at least maybe a little tiny basket of a few treats here and there.
Yeah, and I guess that's our other commonality, that you like to make your baskets. You ain't like you never get. Well, I'm sure everybody's had the Easter basket with I miss those things. You used to blow it. The pinwheels.
Yes,
pinwheel in it, and
you see that?
I do remember that picture.
Yeah, it's on my IG. You know what I'm saying? I will here I will screen snap it right now, and I will put it in the for the patrons. Y'all can see this picture of T in an Easter suit. It's a pretty decent haircut. Man, I look so much like my mom in that picture. It's like every now and again, you just see you'll see one of your parents in you, and I look so much like Andy Pearl in that picture. That's wild. But yeah, man, I honestly, God, have never brought a made Easter basket for the kids. It's always been something I've gone out and just gotten stuff and put it together myself. I like doing it. I like getting the grass, and they made a couple of years back. They came with edible grass.
I remember.
Don't mean it's good grass, but you could eat it. And that
it was good because I remember we came through and you was like, "Look, they got edible grass, and that shit tastes like green apple." It was pretty dope.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, they got that. It'd be baskets. But one year I got it. They make I guess in some country in Europe, I cannot tell you which, they do eggs, but big old eggs, and so like paper eggs. And so one year I caught paper eggs from a World Market, and I filled those and so forth. And I always, like I said, hook it. One year I did trash cans. You know what I'm saying? So Xander got a Transformers trash can, and Lee got whatever I got that year trash can, and just fill everything. Put all the stuff in there. So it's like I always try to find a unique take on it. And that's just, I don't know. This is who I am. And we ended up dyeing eggs last year. Like we talked about it, and then finally we was like, all right, fuck it, we gonna dye some eggs. So that was kind of fun. Eggs expensive now though, so but
they went back. They're going back down because the eggs I usually buy, it used to be the 36 count. Yeah, I used to get the 2 18s, and they were like plastic wrapped together. And they used to be at the lowest like $3.50. Yeah. Then they were up to 10.
Yeah.
And now I haven't been getting them, but just the regular 18 is back down to $3.50 right now.
Somebody pointed out TikTok, YouTube, something, that they was actually paying less for more local organic eggs than it was for the eggs that was coming from this company that basically raised the price of eggs just to raise the price of eggs, and then lied and said it was because the aviary flu. Like, no, it wouldn't.
And then funny, one of those factories burnt. Like, it seemed like that was self-sabotage. Like, well, now they really gonna go up.
Yeah, it always seemed to go down like that. But yeah, man, and so we do that. We do the data egg shit and so forth. So, and like I said, my kids is getting old, man. Xander is a full ass a legal adult when you think about it, and Lee will be 16 this year. So it's like I'm like, do I do Easter this year? But I'll probably end up doing, like I said, just something small. I'll come across a little something. Plus, you know what I'm saying? What other I need an excuse to buy, jelly beans, and so, and of course Reese eggs, because this is the height of Reese egg. What look, I know some people fuck with the Halloween pumpkin shaped ones. They might fuck with the Christmas tree joints, but it's the Easter egg Reese cup. That's the one.
And
it's so fresh, it's so delicious.
I remember my mom had the theory. It was like, she said, you know what? Easter, like the seasonal candy is the best because they put less preservatives and stuff in. I'm like, you might be right. I don't know, but
hey,
it's something about that ratio. Like,
it is a proper amount of the peanut butter. I feel like they give you a little more, but then the chocolate is just slightly thicker.
It's snappy.
Yeah, exactly. And Reese's eggs is the one. Okay, I'm telling you that shit right now. Just trust your boy on that. So, yeah, dig it, man. I like I said, I don't. Yeah, like I said, not churchy at all. I don't. That's one of the ones that some people like. Some people in our, I mean, like I said, the kids might, if their grandma do something, have to go to their grandma's house. But I don't be going like the necessary people's house or stuff on Easter because I don't really bang with Easter like that. So that's one of the ones I guess I don't, with any kind of malice, keep to myself, but I just do, try to watch Ten Commandments because they play that shit every year around that time, man. It's hilarious. That's one of the movies that's just like, man, this is really racist. And when you get old enough to know better.
Yeah, I've never seen it before. Like
oh
when it comes to like a holiday epic, like I haven't watched like I don't think I've even watched like It's a Wonderful Life in a serious manner. Like I've seen when he gets slapped in his ear and that dark ass blood come out of his ear, but after that it's like like I was raised by a young black woman. We didn't watch that kind of stuff.
My mama, like, they came up on that shit. So you know what I'm saying, it's the flip. They came up on that shit, and so I did too, sort of. And so I gotta tell you, Ten Commandments kind of amazing in a film situation.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? You're like, God damn, that is crazy. But then you just start doing the math, and the math start math. Like, why is that white man playing this Egyptian? Why is all these white people playing these Egyptians? None of these Egyptians should have looked like this. So forth. So, like I said, the math start math, and then you really start. All of a sudden, you're like, none of this works like it should. But it's a spectacle. It looks amazing.
Is that where Pharaoh, let my people go?
I don't feel like they sing in that. So I feel like that might come from something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like the Ten Commandments is not a real sing-songy vibe. So let my people go. Oh my
God! There's this one scary movie with the next Karate Kid in it, where it's like everything that happens in the Bible, like her job is to explain it. I forgot the name. I don't know the name of the movie. I just know that she's in it, and it's like I remember the one part where they're talking about the Red Sea being red, and she was like, well, what had to happen is it was red algae blooms at the time, and that's what made the Red Sea turn red. Or she was like, well, the part of the sea, and then some scary shit happened, and she like, I guess she got to start believing in the Bible again, or something fucked up. But all I know is it was Next Karate Kid in that movie.
Hillary Swank? Is
Yes.
that Hillary Swank?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that was Hillary Swank. What's the one that became a racist? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. OG Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Christy Swanson, because I
Christy
recently watched a little bit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a solid movie.
Paul Rubens playing a vampire.
Yes.
You know, Pee Wee.
Damn, I love Paul Rubens.
This song is the actual "Let My People Go" lyrics are they don't know who wrote it, but when Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go, oppressed so hard they could not stand, no more shall they in bondage toil, let my people go. I don't know what musical that's from, but I do know of that song. And I remember when Carlton went to jail.
Oh yeah,
and on the Fresh Prince,
yes,
and he was singing in the cell, and this white man came over and like started. Was the white man? Seemed like it was.
It was like a vagrant Pharaoh, let my people.
And he came
go.
in and bellowed, "Let my people go." It's like that's a good Fresh Prince memory, people.
Yeah, Fresh Prince is pretty iconic. Like it's a handful of episodes. You know what? But that wouldn't be a podcast. I would think like would be like your top 5 Fresh Prince episodes. Like, man, it's so many good ones.
That is easily a something we could put together for the patrons, and we can work something out there. So don't sleep on that. There you go. That's what's up. You're caught up on Anthony's life. The only thing I really honestly going on in my life is my kid is on spring break this week, and therefore I made a point to be like, I would try at some point during this spring break to get you some time highway driving, as I'm teaching my kid to drive. And that day became today, which also became how to pull out of my eye doctor's office. My eye doctor's office parking lot is a 7, if you will. You know what I'm saying? If you looked at it, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, but a weird tight L that makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a straight line this way, but a curve, but with a angle this way and this way. And it's like, so first things first was getting them out of that damn driveway. And it's a little involved, but he got out safe. And I'm just walking through the steps as we get toward the highway. I'm like, all right, you ready? And he's like, no, I'm super scared. I go, okay, that's okay. I go, hook it tight, get in that far left lane and punch out. And I'm like, I need you at highway speed by the time you come off the end of this arm ramp or whatever. Yeah, it's called an arm ramp. Yeah. And they go in, they getting up to speed. I'm like, nope, fast. Give it some more. Nope, give it more. I want you at 60 by the time you come off there. And then sure as shit, by the time they came off that bricks, it was 60. I go, all right, keep a look, turn your head, look over there. Anybody coming? No. Turn the turn signal on and slide over to the left. Boom. And then punch out and like ride. And I'm like, I'm like, you good? I'm like, choke up on that wheel, make sure that wheel don't do nothing you don't want it to do. Go. And they going. They stay right around 59, 60, get up to like 61. And I'm like, punch this bitch. I'm like, let it go. Not that's me. People going honestly, God, it was just before what would have been rush hour, probably would have started, and we was headed east because we like started on the other end of town, and then like said got on the highway to go eastward, and so it honestly would be the opposite of the way traffic would flow that time of the day anyway. But got him up to like 63. He never really like went hard, and so basically we went from one exit this way down to 117th.
Okay.
Exit on this side, and because that's a very involved exit, I was just like, get off, slow your roll, kind of come around, and just stay to your right because it's easier to turn right on that street than it is to turn left because there's so much traffic coming. Because it becomes like 117th is like a 4, 5, 6 lane fucking piece
it's
of
very
work
congested
anyways.
over there.
Yeah. So I'm like, just turn right and we can wrap back around on toward the neighborhood and stuff. And so, but got my kid on the highway today and he did pretty decent. And he said it was scary, and I'm like, but you did it. So scary.
Yeah,
and I try to remember. I remember the first time. I do remember the first time I was on the highway. That was in high school in Atlanta, and I was taught. You know what I'm saying? They had driver's ed in high school, but I cannot remember for the life of me when I put Xander on the highway at first. And it was. I know we were driving. I think we were driving to Virginia, and but why would just he and I have gone to Virginia? So where the heck could we have been going? I don't know. We drove out of state for sure. And I know he was good at it, and he still remains a pretty solid driver. But I was trying to figure it out. I have to ask him about if he remembers when, because he's usually good about those things. And that's another thing that is so. This is something that will come to you, or maybe you already have visited this in your mind. Your children have their own damn lives that you are simply not a part of. And so they have their own memories of things and perspectives that are not yours that you might be completely and utterly blind to. Because they'll be like, oh, we did this with mom. And I'm like, I didn't know that happened. And that's crazy. And I'm like, that's dope that happened, is that you have a good memory on that. But it's neat to me. And so that has been something that has been coming to me a lot lately. They'll tell me things that they did with their mom, or they tell me just things that they've done. And I'm like, and it's not that I forget. It's just like, I think humanity is, we are the star of our own show, and we forget other people are starring in their own show.
Yeah.
And so they have experience that we might are unaware of. And I kind of dig I dig that I'm learning these things of my children, you know?
It's kind of funny. Like, well, first, I had one thought. Like, the area you live in is so, I wouldn't say highway convenient, but like very, very highway adjacent. Like, you have like 3 stops in your city alone. It's like, hey, you get off here, you get off here, you get off here. It might be more than that. I don't live there. And and you have so I kind of feel like Lee will get used to, not kind of have to, but like has options.
Yes.
Because like, and it's like, and Lee's getting to learn how to drive in a newer car. Like, you know, that you don't have to really worry about that. Hey, you got to hold on to that steering wheel. My steering wheel shake, or don't worry about it going to the left a little bit. So that's kind of cool. Like, you know, where, you know, a lot of times you learn how to drive in an older car. So that's kind of cool. But what you said about kids having their own lives, I've realized that through Emory more. Because they have different school experiences, like, okay, and like Emory will be like, oh, this and this happened in school today, and then after like, that didn't happen like that. I'm like, you can't tell him that, like, because
it's his lived experience.
It's how, so that's how it's been coming my way a lot, because like every day they'll be in school, and like, one son will be like, I don't like this person, or this teacher is mean. And I'm like, you can't tell him that's not what he thinks. Or we always say a lot, don't yuck his yum. If he like this, he like that. Because they are very, very different. And it's apparent every day, especially when they get in the car after school. And one of them like, well, you know, this happened and this happened. And my oldest son is very tight-lipped about what's going on. He is very businesslike. He's very tight-lipped about what going on. So, yeah, they both have very, very different experiences in life so far.
It's just it's just something that has struck me in recently. Like I said, because that's what it is me and Lee be driving because we be driving everywhere and we be chatting and they be like, oh yeah, I remember being over here with mom and blah blah blah, and I was like, dang, it's crazy. So that has been an interesting experience to arrive at as I get older and so forth. So not really a lot popping in my life. I got my glasses, people. They got that shit together and got them done in a week. I had to go to our doctor today for what's known as a visual field test, and it's mostly to take a look at my left. My left eye is kind of jacked up, and it's mostly to make sure it's still functioning at the level it has been, and it seems to be. I'll let you know if something changes. But my glasses was ready, and they tweaked them a little bit and set them up, and I have my fresh spectacles on. But I also got a cool pair of sunglasses. I ordered them from Zini Optical. This is not an ad. I want you to know I get my Sunnies from Zini, and I got the show's I guess hashtag technically. They wouldn't let me put the hashtag. They wouldn't let me put hashtag SKiM a little bit over for y'all business. But they let me put the letters SKIM on the side of my little Sunnies, which is kind of dope. And I got to put it in blue. So, and my little faux wood grain earpieces on my glasses, it says on one side it says SKiM, and I think that's pretty fresh. So that's about that. And let's see. Recorded Cadillac on Mars this week. That was cool. I got to sit and chat with Chalfie and Delvin, which is always a delight. And that episode is out already as you hear this. So yeah, you can get down with that.
Yeah, I listened to it today while I was making homemade Crunch Wrap Supremes.
Fancy. We got your tostadas?
Well, I just like Mission makes like a very little street taco shell or tortillas. Yeah. They make them flour and corn, of course. So I didn't get the already made tostadas because I felt like those are too big. So I just got the little street tacos and fried them in some oil. That shit was very involved. This is way easier just to go to Taco Bell. But yeah, that's what I listened to. Well, like while I was preparing my food, and I had to make a quick trip to the store. But yeah, it was a good episode. Like most of the time, but you guys don't do like really feedback, so it was just like if I could just tweet like, hey, that's not true, or like because I remember today, like when I was listening, you was like talking about like the state of comedy, and you were like the only people that are doing I'm going to get canceled are men, and I was like, that's not true.
Because I guess Roseanne's doing that shit now, but I don't really know her work like that.
Yeah, not Roseanne. I'm trying to. It's a female comic. She is one of the big ones. She used to have a show on NBC with the one dude who got with DiMaggio. What's that dude's name? Well, anyway, I should have wrote it down because I would sound more eloquent at this moment. But her whole special was about being canceled. And she was like, don't cancel me. And she did this whole R. Kelly bit. I watched a little bit because it was on HBO. It was either HBO or Max or Netflix. And she Chris D'Elia, I think she was on her show on the show with her. But anyway, she does this whole R. Kelly bit about how she only dates like older men who still listen to R. Kelly, and like so she like, and I was just like, her whole thing was about not being canceled. So I'm gonna look her up, but I just like it was a couple other things. I was like, man, but like I said, you guys really don't do feedback on there.
It's a monthly show. I mean, you know, I bet you if people gave feedback, then Chalk would probably be more apt to include it. So write that man an email.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
by the time I'm Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, I know who that dude is. Who like he be like preying on little young girls, right? That's what his little situation is.
I think that's I don't know if he actually did it or what happened with it, but I do remember it was something along those lines. Whitney Cummings is her name.
Oh yeah, I hate her. I literally despise her. I ended up having to block her on Spaces, and not because on some old cancel bullshit. She just happens to have she be saying some racial shit and racist shit.
Like I said, she was one of the main people talking about being canceled, and she
worked out because I definitely canceled her ass.
Like she was going like in that special, she was going out of her way to be. I'm so edgy. I'm gonna say some stuff that's gonna get me canceled.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. So, and of course, when I say shit like that, it makes me think, all right, am I being sexist? Am I saying this because it's a woman or so forth and so on? But I'm like, nah, she be saying some fucked up shit that speaks fucked up to me, and I'm okay to not be cool with her.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you not to be cool with her. I'm saying that's what I think separates, I guess, me from other people. Some people want, they like, everybody got to agree with me and cancel that. I'm like, I just don't know. I don't fuck with her. Yes, you can fuck with her all you want, but I don't.
I think she canceled
herself. I love some fucking Louis C.K. and I do not fuck with Louis C.K. But I don't be shitting on Box for it.
I liked Louis C.K. but I kind of feel like I agree with you guys in some point, like that whole they're trying to cancel me because of this. It just like that purview alone makes you unfunny because that is almost stealing everybody's joke.
Yes.
Like if everybody's doing the same joke, then where's the comedy?
For sure. It's like, and that's I think that's why a lot of people, not a lot, but some people have just been like, yo, this Chris Rock shit is just kind of tired. Because everybody's saying that he's not saying anything new. He wasn't saying anything from a perspective that seemed interesting or whatever. It's just like, there you go, saying the same shit everybody else saying. Like 6 other comics done said this before you.
It's more than it's a movement at this point.
Yeah. but it's a movement to not be to and I'm not saying, like I said, again, we talked about Chris Rock last week. Chris Rock, I want to reiterate this shit, did nothing wrong. But Chris Rock comedy for this particular special was very bland and very much in the wheelhouse of people who are all saying shit like "don't cancel me" or "I have been canceled" or "cancel culture is real" or wokeism and so forth and so on. And I'm just like, don't be with that batch of people, bro.
It almost seems like to me is like more comics need to do what Eddie Murphy did. Like he had a time in a space in a light where he was very funny. Some of the stuff he said won't go now, and he really doesn't. He doesn't do stand up anymore. Like Jay-Z,
he'll get to joking,
yeah,
which is kind of fun when you see Eddie Murphy. You're like, hold on, I'm about to crack a few.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And it's like you can see he got it, and they are people in there. They constantly talk about how they are been attempting or trying to get Eddie Murphy to go ahead and come on and do this shit again. But I think Eddie Murphy is like, bruh, the type of comic I once was, I certainly can't be in this day and age. And I don't want people being disappointed in me. I'm a real, PG-13 family kind of comedian at this point,
Yeah.
So that's real talk. But that's what the deal is, people. Let's walk right to Reddit Avenue, and then we'll take you higher. I got you 3 Am I the Assholes this week. Actually, 2 Am I the Assholes and 1 Would I Be the Asshole. These are all a delight. I'll run through the titles for you right now, then we'll go through the actual rigmarole. Am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to split an expensive restaurant bill with me? Am I the asshole for being annoyed?
That first one was, would I be an asshole?
No, that's am I the asshole.
Okay.
This next one is, am I the asshole for being annoyed that my wife allowed my brother to stay at our house? I'm telling you, man, some of these is chunky. And this last one, would I be the asshole if I told my parents, my brother is lying about his paychecks? These are all a delight. I want you to know that. So let's go. Am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to split an expensive restaurant bill with me?
So I'm gonna vote no, this person not an asshole.
So my girlfriend and I have lived together for 7 years. We usually split everything 50-50. We don't keep track of small things, of course, like snacks and fast food and things like that. But we do split groceries and fancy dinners out. Typically, just to give you an idea that is how we do things. That's how that's written. Sorry, y'all. So you went out for her birthday last night. At the start of the night, I told her that I budgeted $500 for her birthday and that I wouldn't be able to spend more than that. She was super understanding and said she was totally happy with that. So we go out to an adult arcade, to a paint night, and then to a fancy dinner. Before the restaurant, I told her I only had $200 left for the evening, and she said that was totally fine. So she ends up getting a smaller appetizer and ordering a fancy bottle of wine with dinner because she said she wanted the bubbly more than the food when it came down for budgeting. At the end, our bill was $223 and change. When I asked her if she would split the bill with the $23 plus tip as her portion. So basically, he said he had $200 left. So what went over was $23 plus the tip. It's her portion. Not half, just the portion that went over the $200 I told her I could afford. She looked at me a little dumbfounded and said she only brought her small purse and it didn't fit her wallet. So she would have to give it to me at home or send me money. I told her that was totally okay and to just PayPal me the money later. I wasn't upset or anything and said we could square up at home. She went a little quiet, and when we got home, she showered and went straight to bed without saying much. The next day, she gave me the $23 in cash, but left it on a note that says, "Since I guess we nickel and dime each other now, here's your $23. Happy birthday, me." And now she's giving me the cold shoulder. I've tried to talk to her about it, but she keeps brushing me off and saying I'm being a cheap jerk. I honestly wasn't trying to be a jerk. I just genuinely had a budget and was super clear about that. She's never been upset with me before she's never been upset before about me using a budget before this. I was very specific that I could only afford $500 and even told her that before dinner. Am I the asshole here?
Clearly not. Like, I commend that person for having a budget, sticking to his budget, like being clear. Like, you might as well just like stop saying budget and saying boundaries. Like, he had a boundary. He said, "Hey, I only have this much," and he was upfront about it. Like,
yeah,
I kind of feel like sometimes in relationships, like you try to do more than you should do rightfully.
Yeah.
But this guy was super clear about it. He wasn't an asshole about it. He let her know. And that person that he's with is being a little bit immature about the situation. And hopefully, as this guy's pattern, he's communicating his boundaries and his budgets to her. And hopefully they can get that resolved because that he was up front. And like, that's more than a lot of people do.
Yeah. I think she was disappointed because it was her birthday and she thought he could probably take one for the team.
Yeah.
But he had already, said X, X, and X. And so things have been established. Things have been agreed to. And so when a line was crossed, it's not on him as much as it could be. So not a lot of pink comments on this one. This is one where people are really kind of divided. Some people are like, "You are being cheap. You're being weird." Other people are like, "Bro, what are you talking about, man? My man started with a $500 budget. That's pretty solid for somebody's birthday, And I'm like, "You're right. I can get that." So let's read a couple of comments. This guy is ALock74, asshole enthusiast. I'm going to go with everyone sucks here. I understand you have a budget, but it's $23. She's overreaching for sure. But is this really a battle worth having over $23?
First of all, it wasn't just $23.
Yeah, I want to do the math on that
because it was $23 plus a tip. And
Yeah.
a tip
So
for a $200 meal is a little substantial.
looks to be $44.60 for 223 if you tip 20%. So $44 plus the 20. Okay, so let's do 44.6 plus the $23. 44 point here. 44.6 plus 23. $67. So $70 basically.
Yes.
So 70, it's about $70 that he's like, I'm saying don't leave your stank on. But it's not the entirety of the birthday budget.
Yes.
And what I know about having, and I'll read you the comments still, but what I know about having read further into the comments, the OP has been good about responding to people, is that she ordered a $160 bottle of wine. My man said, I have a $200 budget and you went and spent the vast majority of it on a bottle of wine. It's really kind of on her. You feel me?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I kind of feel like some people pocket watch, like you have enough of this, you should be able to do this. Like, don't do that to me. Like, I told you amount, that's the amount.
Yeah.
And we've done other things. I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty simple. I don't know why people would disagree with that. Everybody doesn't suck in this situation. That's just wrong.
Oh, here, let me finish reading this to you. Edit. I have to change my judgment to you're the asshole based off the OP's comments in the thread. I can absolutely understand why the girlfriend feels like they're being nickeled and dimed. OP makes it sound like he's in a tight spot and $23 would break the bank for him. But in his comments, he said he has a stash of money elsewhere and he refuses to touch. OP should have A, kept better track of what they were spending, or B, just took the 23 from his other savings and replenished it at another time. The girlfriend had no obligation to keep track of the spending and was not in charge of the budget. OP said he was and should have followed through accordingly. So that's one comment. Like I said, it seems like real whatever. Somebody follow this shit up. This is Dakurai, who says, the heck is wrong with you people here? $500 is no small amount, and he told her up front. $23 can or cannot be a small amount depending on the person, but that does not matter. He gave her what was already not a small amount of money, and she went over that. Why is it then him who is making bad budgets when she's the one who went over the limit he told her? Just because he's a guy? Seems a lot of double standard is coming through in this thread. So like I said, a lot of this post is that kind of shit. It's the back and forth of people like, if this was a woman, it would have never been like that, and so forth and so on. This is like, bruh, y'all just want to be mad.
Yes.
But the reality of it is here. What's this exactly? What did he order? If OP is budgeting 500, spend on the okay. Anyway, I don't believe this person's an asshole. Reddit didn't go one way or the other on this, and it was like I said, it was actually probably a 50-50 split when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
but I think
this is one of the situations where I do miss Dan, and which I had, because he is very budget conscious. But it would have been nice to hear his opinion about it. For sure. So that was that one. Next one. Let me hear it when I say it and know how easy it actually is, okay? Am I the asshole for being annoyed that my wife allowed my brother to stay at our house? Okay, I'm gonna say not the asshole.
My 39 male brother, 20, lives with his girlfriend about an hour's drive away from me and my wife. By him describing it as an hour's drive away, I feel like this brother might be from Ohio because we be describing shit in time and not distance. My brother and I have never been close due to the age difference. Our parents had me young and then him later in life. He was always the spoiled one who got whatever he wanted. We see each other on holidays and special occasions, but other than that, we might talk on the phone once or twice a month. Last night, I had to work late and could not be reached by phone. When I got off, I noticed that I had 2 missed calls from my brother and a few from my wife. but it was already close to 11 p.m., so I chose to just drive home and not call and possibly wake someone up. I walk into the house and see my wife, 41 female, and brother on the couch playing Mario Kart. When I walk in, they both say hi and go back to their game. I went to the bedroom, showered, and frankly, just sleep. I was exhausted. My wife comes in a few minutes later, and I ask her why my brother was there. She said he called her because he and his girlfriend had gotten into a pretty heated argument, and he just needed to get away get away from the situation for a little while he figured out what he was going to do. They only have one car, and it's in the girlfriend's name, so he couldn't take it. Apparently, he tried to call me, and when I didn't answer, he called her, and she went and picked him up about an hour away, even though she hates driving at night. They also went out for dinner before coming home. I told her that I find it odd that she would pick my brother up and take him to dinner just because he's gotten into an argument with his girlfriend, that he's an adult and needed to work it out. She just rolled her eyes at me and said he would be staying in the spare bedroom as long as he needed, that I was acting weird, and that he is my brother and he has no idea why it was such a huge deal that he was here. I told her that if someone is staying at my house, especially my family, I should be the one who decides that he had no right to call her, and he should have waited for me to call him back and would be talking to him in the morning. She told me to deal with it and grow up, that he is always welcome here. My wife is now mad at me, and I'm stuck with my brother in my house for who knows how long until he figures out his life. We already have 2 teens. I don't need another kid here. I stand by what I said. My brother doesn't need to be here, but my wife's still mad at me today. Am I the asshole for saying she should not have picked my brother up and allowed him to stay at the house? Update. I don't think just because I think an 18-year-old person should be out of the house and not rely on family to support them makes me a bad person. People need to grow up and be adults. I expect the same from my children. They are expected to have a job and save money to move out when they are 18 and graduate from high school. If they go to college, they can stay here, but are expected to pay for it on their own and pay a small amount of rent. My wife does not agree with me with this and says that they can stay as long as they need. I am trying to make her see reason. As a kid, I was never taken to the zoo, museums, or out to eat. I was sent to public school and not allowed to play sports or do activities because there was never money. I had to get a job as soon as I could. My parents were 16 when they had me, and even when they got older and had more money, I still did not get the opportunities that my brother was given. He got the best, and I got nothing. And it's time he stood on his own. Yes, my kids got to go to the zoo, park, museums, play sports, and attend activities. They get a lot of what I didn't, but those are my kids, not my brother. I don't see why my wife could take him. I don't see why my wife would take him along with her. My brother has always loved her like another mom. So I had to share her with my brother too. I got home from work last night. Everyone was already getting ready for dinner. After dinner, I told the kids to please go to their room so I could talk to my brother and wife. I asked my brother why he was there and why he felt the need to call us instead of working it out. He said he just needed to get out of the house. He had found out that his girlfriend had cheated on him and was planning on leaving. She blamed him for her cheating because he wouldn't marry her or have a baby with her, and that was what she really wanted. I said what she wanted wasn't unreasonable, that he was being immature. If he could live with her, he could marry her. My wife said that not everyone wants to be married and have children, that he's young. He's an adult. Grow up. I said I didn't appreciate them making decisions without me. This could have been sorted out the next morning. No one needs to drive 2 hours or run away from home. I asked when my brother planned on leaving. He talked to his girlfriend. She was moving out by Sunday. Then he would go home. He had 2 months left on his lease, so he was going to look for something smaller to move into. I said that I don't like him staying that long. My wife said he's your brother. A few days isn't going to kill anyone. I agreed just to stop the fight. I didn't like it, but I felt backed into a corner. I still think he needs to go home and deal with his own problems. My brother said, thanks, I appreciate it, and walked off. My wife and I talk more. Neither one of us is really happy with one another.
Man, boy, was I wrong. This dude's a big asshole. This dude's a gaping asshole.
I didn't know what to do with it. It's like, you terrible, terrible person. And I know we don't bandy that about too often, but this You mad at some shit he had no say over or control over.
Yeah, because your parents retired after raising your asshole ass. Like parents, like the second child or grandchildren get different treatment because guess what? Your parents are different people after that.
For sure.
And your brother got, I guess, the love you didn't get, and you needed that shit bad as fuck because you are a sour, bitter bitch.
So here's a post that is actually by the OP in the thing. People keep asking the same question over and over. I don't like my brother because he was spoiled as a child and given many opportunities that I was not. Excuse me. My parents expected me to have a job at 16, and I moved out at 18. He was sent to a better school, given better clothes, allowed to be in a band and other activities that when I was growing up, they couldn't afford and didn't have to have a job until he graduated. He is 20. He has been with his girlfriend since he was 17. He needs to be talking to her, working it out, not at my house playing Mario Kart with my wife. No, I don't think they're having an affair. She has known him since the day he was born. He was always her little buddy. When we started having kids, she would include him in the activities like going to the zoo, to the park, or whatever. This bothered me because there were things that I didn't get to do as often as a child, but she always disregarded my feelings on this matter. My parents and brother moved 2 states away. My parents and my brother moved 2 states away when he was 14. I never kept in touch, minus holidays and occasional phone calls. I don't know if my wife kept in touch with my brother. She never said anything. He moved back when he was 18 with his girlfriend. There's a lower cost of living here, and he was able to find a decent job working from home. I honestly just don't think that once you move out and are on your own, you should rely on family to help you out of any situation. People need to learn to 100% rely on themselves, and they will never make it in this world. Same goes for my kids. I will talk to my wife and brother tonight and find out when he's leaving because he's not staying much longer. So this must have been before the update or between the update and now. And yeah, that just added to his asshole. I was hoping that would make it better. Stop it, bruh. Yeah, I mean, he said he met his wife when he was 19 and she was 21. So she literally has known her that child since he was born. That's like her first child. You know what I'm saying?
Or her it seems like her little brother.
More than his.
Like he's been jealous of this brother's treatment his whole life, and his wife has been able to see the brother as the person he is.
Man, just what a fucking lame.
I mean, I don't agree with anything he said or any of his thoughts. Like, sometimes people do need help. I do believe, like, the brother didn't. What he needed more than anything was emotional support. He found out his girlfriend was cheating on him. Instead of
long-term girlfriend.
Yeah. Instead of being verbally or physically abusive, he left the situation. Like he
smartly, in my opinion.
Yeah, he did something probably that you couldn't do.
Facts.
And so till Sunday, till the weekend, you guys get to be like, hey, even if you didn't feel like, hey, we don't really got room here, you could have offered your brother a hotel if that was the case. You could have did something other than what you did. Like, if it's only till Sunday, like, hey, like my kids are used to a schedule. Or like I do this, we do this. Hey, how about I get you a hotel? If you didn't feel comfortable, but you had an extra room. He didn't seem like he wanted to be a bother, but he's gone through something that he probably needs family around for. Like, you're 20 years old. I'm not saying it's a bullshit excuse, but it's on the lines of a bullshit excuse like, hey, you don't want to have kids with me or marry me at 20, so I'm cheating on you.
And that's no, you just cheating on him because you're cheating on him, and you need an excuse right then and there. So you're like, because you won't marry me, it's your fault that I'm cheating on you.
Well, I'm not gonna marry you now.
Where's the psychological sense in that? To quote Cameron.
Yeah. So, yeah,
that's a wild one. All right, last one. Would I be the asshole if I told our parents my brother is lying about his paychecks?
I think I'm gonna say yes. You would be the asshole.
My 17 female brother, 15 male, and I's parents have a rule for jobs. We get to keep 1/3. 1/3 goes to college, and the rest goes into an account for us to get when we turn 21. I think that's a pretty fair rule, and it's what I'm doing since I've started working. My brother has always complained about our parents taking his money, but since we live under their roof, I think they have every right to do it. We thought my brother was making $15 an hour and that they were splitting the money like that. Well, he told me the other day that he got a raise to $18 and hasn't told our parents. He just pockets the extra money. I really think that's disrespectful toward them to break a rule like that. So I told him he has until tonight to tell them, or I will. And he called me a bitch. I would have called you a bitch too. Don't fuck with my money. Yeah, you're an asshole. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Look out for your brother. Look out. Look, your siblings, unless they fucking up. You know what I'm saying? If he's snorting his money away, yeah, that's the best. Go tell mom and dad.
Yeah, but he's only only snorting away $3 more. I mean, come on, how much coke you getting?
I mean, if my man is copping Red Bulls and a chicken sandwich from time to time, come on, bro. What is he doing here?
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, honestly, you just mad because you ain't thinking that shit first. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's just keep to yourself. You don't have to. You would be the asshole if you told on your brother, because that's just asshole behavior.
Yeah. Let's get no pink comments or anything like that there. But I do have a comment that I see that I noticed that I liked, so I must think highly of this comment myself, and that is from my hair is on fire too.
Liar.
You're the asshole. Your parents aren't entitled to money he works to earn. They shouldn't be forcing him or you to do anything with it, even under the guise of teaching you something. All they're teaching you is that they're controlling and don't trust you to learn how to budget your own money. Something more likely to cause you to be frivolous with your money once you are finally in control of it. Let's be honest. You've been forced to do this unfair shit since you started working. Your brother has found a way to actually keep more of what's his, and you resent that. Because after all, you had to suffer the controlling stupidity for your whole life and lived, so he should too. Do you have any proof that that's actually what they're even doing with the money? Yeah, I mean, they can be saying, yeah, we're putting away for college, and they could be out there again snorting away your money.
Ask Gary Coleman.
There's better ways to teach your children. Yeah, for sure. There's better ways to teach your children how to save. This ain't one of them, and it's jacked up that you're just gonna tell on your brother because he making a few extra shekels. Don't do that. I tell Lee sometimes be like, we'll say something about that. I'm like, well, don't do that. Like, unless it's something dangerous or bad, and I need to know about it, just keep it between y'all two.
Yes,
just support each other. You know what I'm saying? Because that way, y'all know y'all got each other's back when it comes down to some shit. Because, you know what I'm saying? Here, let's see. Let's try to see if I see any other comments. The original poster, mind you, has been suspended from Reddit. So who knows why? Either they were responding shittily or people, because sometimes that's what people will just be mad and they'll hate on somebody until they get suspended.
Mm-hmm.
So you can never call it in these situations. But that is it, people. That is your selection of Am I the Assholes this week. I hope you enjoyed them. I know I certainly did. In the realm of entertainment, it's a pretty much it's almost a full repeat of last week. Caught up on Shrinking. God, that show is so good.
I have 3 free months that I gotta read back up on, and then we can get back to watching Shrinking.
Very good. The Last of Us season finale, but I'll talk about that here shortly. I actually want to get into that with you. Grand Crew is back. My man Carl Tart, you know what I'm saying? A friend of the show, Carl Tart, is back. It is comes on Friday nights now on NBC, and it's also available on Peacock the next day.
And he's also in History of the World. I haven't watched it yet.
History World Part 2,
yes.
which is on Hulu. So that you can check that out. Night Court is what I discovered while watching Grand Crew on Peacock. There's a remake of Night Court, or I guess a continuation of Night Court. Where Harry Stone's daughter, played by Melissa Rauch, who you might have remembered from The Big Bang Theory. She played Howard's wife,
Howie's wife,
Bernadette. And she is now Judge Stone, and John Larroquette has returned as Dan Fielding. Only this time he's the defense and not the city's prosecutor. And it's real. I watched a lot of them episodes of that show. I also fell asleep, and they watched a lot of me. So I got to go back and rewind and watch those. But I really enjoyable. It's a very much a comfort show. That show is very much like watching old syndicated Night Court, like you would have when you were younger. And it was a very comforting show to kind of go to and watch and laugh and get some of the old jokes and see some of the stuff that I recognize, like that armadillo and so forth. Just good jokes, I'm saying, in that regard. Still working on The Last of Us Part 1, the video game. Where am I? I just met Sam and Henry. Literally, that's just exactly where I'm at right now. So I'm just about to get out of Pittsburgh with Sam and Henry and get real sad. New season of Fortnite has started, so I'm kind of messing around with that. Played a couple of rounds of that today. I played and finished the Resident Evil 4 remake demo today. It's one of my all-time favorite games, and this remake is real pretty, but it's so pretty that it's intensely more scary than it was. This is like, it looks so realistic, and bro, like, god damn. And the dude with that chainsaw is still scary as shit to me after all these years. So that's a tough one. Ted Lasso is back.
Yes.
And I watched the first episode of Ted Lasso last night. And if it's the last season, which they have not officially said, but everybody seems to be in agreement that they think it's the last season, then I am excited to see where it goes. Because what they set up in that first episode is like, okay, I see the conflict for everybody involved, and let's see how it is going to be resolved. And I'm excited to see where it goes. AFC Richmond has been promoted once more to the Premier League, but they are believed that they're going to finish last by every person writing about football. And Nate's new team, Nate Shelley, is thought that it's going to be they're going to finish in the top 4. So everybody's writing good things about him. And that first episode was a banger, and I'm excited to see where it heads. Good to have Ted Lasso back. What you watch, man? Like, see, before we start getting to the last list, let me get everything else. Watching, playing, booking, whatever you up to. You know what it is.
I finished the podcast called The Coldest Case in Laramie. It was made by the same people who made Serial. It was about a cold case from, I believe, like 1985, about a young lady being murdered, and a person was arrested for it but never convicted. And it was a pretty interesting podcast. It was not quite as good as Serial, but I kind of feel like it would make a pretty good documentary. Like, the episode, there's only 8 episodes, and like the episodes are only a half an hour, so it's very, very digestible, and it was a quick listen. The Coldest Case in Laramie. that was what I pretty much listened to because I cannot find a book on to listen to. Like
Libby.
the dishes are the ones that suffer. I haven't like usually when I go to the store, like if I'm listening to something, I'll be gone for a while. I've been taking short trips. I've been right back home.
Okay.
But I started watching a show on Discovery Plus. It's a HGTV show called the First Home Fix. It was a pretty good show. And like you were talking about comfort, like I needed something to watch, and I wanted to try to like watch something not necessarily different, but like something that was comforting, but like new to my ears and eyes. And I started watching Chopped again. I haven't like watched the episode of Chopped in a pretty long time, and like every morning I've been like I'll put on an episode of Good Mythical Morning. If I like it, I'll finish it and then watch Good Mythical more. And at first this week I was watching First Home Fix. Then they only have 5 episodes of that, so it's like, what else can I watch? So I was like, I went to Chopped. I also tried to watch a movie on Canopy this week called Short Bus. Always heard about it, and it's like an NC-17 movie. And I remember this was you was like, why does always dicks that is the reason you get the graphic nudity, dude? I had to stop watching this movie. This movie is so graphic, and like as I found out, it's unsimulated sex in this movie, and a bunch of it. And it was just like, oh yeah, that's a real penis, and it was a bunch of them. And I was just like, man, like of course, you know, I wasn't like like I said, I didn't finish it because.
Yeah.
It's not that I passively watch things, but it's like, man, it was like that movie was super graphic, and like I did a little bit more because like I said, I had heard of it, and I think it's made by the same guy who made the Angry Inch.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Is it like the guy who like starred in it? The guy who played Hedwig?
I think he just directs it and writes it. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. And like I had heard about it before, like I'm like, oh, I've heard of that. Let me check it out. And it was just like
written and directed by John Cameron Mitchell.
Yes.
So
it was a little bit too graphic for me.
They describe it as an erotic comedy drama.
Yeah, it was yeah, like you said, like yeah, that movie, like, and as I read about it, like there was like yeah, all unsimulated sex. It was all real. So it was basically an adult. It was basically adult cinema.
It's a porn.
Yes.
It's, yeah, at that point, you just made pornography and are pretending for it not to be, I guess. So that is wild. Also, of course, I'm watching The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian is fucking great. So 3 episodes in, and Mandalorian, fantastic. So,
as far as video game goes, I'm still playing Red Dead 2 right now. But I also loaded the disc, and I started playing a little bit of The Last of Us Part 2, which I've played The Last of Us Part 1 maybe 13 or 14 times. I've only played The Last of Us Part 2 once.
Yeah.
I might have played it like a little bit again, like when I went, but not really.
Without spoiling anything, I enjoy The Last of Us Part 1. It's a fine game. But Part 2 is affecting. It's a game I think about, like I said, to this day. And I think about different parts of it and different scenes of it and different characters in it to this very day. And I find that much more interesting. And I can't, that's what has me even more excited for season 2 of the show, to see what they can draw out. Because like I said, Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann together made a wonderful show that was like a good book adaptation of you know what I'm saying, taken from the video game. So it's enough stuff from the video game to make you feel satisfied and satiated, but enough new stuff or enough different perspective to make you go, okay, I like that idea. I like that they made Sam deaf.
Yeah.
That's a cool take. And even Neil Druckmann said, that's some shit I should have thought of. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, that things like that, where they tweak some things in a way, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm down with the get down on that. The Last of Us ended this past Sunday, and it ended. Me and Anthony had spoken like before that, and it ended so much like what he and I had discussed that it was just like, well, it was almost anticlimactic because it was exactly what I said was going to happen, and that is basically they had established the week before that Joe is a killer, so don't push him, and we got that this week. We got to see that. But also what I told Anthony is, man, I hope we get the giraffes. Now, Anthony understands that because he's played the video game. I understand it because I played the video game. And when I got them giraffes, I almost cried. It square got me in my fucking chest, and I was just like, fucking yes, I get my giraffes. And then I see all over the internet people like, the CG was terrible on the giraffes. CG was terrible on the giraffes. And I was like, them motherfucking giraffes was real. They went to the zoo in Calgary, set up a blue screen behind it, and shot that giraffe for real. That is Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey feeding that giraffe for real and having a good time acting with that giraffe. And it's amazing. It's a delight. Most of the stuff in the background is definitely CG, but that giraffe up close and personal is a real ass giraffe. I don't know its name, but I know it's a real ass giraffe, and it's been fun to see the little videos that have come out and so forth of that movie. Now, what has been real fun for me has been watching the discourse as people are like, was that the right decision? Was the decision you would have made? What do you feel about the way what Joel did, and so forth and so on? And I've thought this way since the end of the game. Of course, Joe did the right thing, but I love that people who never played a video game and got a real rude awakening was like, oh, y'all don't understand. He's a killer. Dropping old guns and picking up new guns, popping motherfuckers. What was I listening to? Yo, is this racist today? And somebody, I think it was either Zig or producer Kevin was like, he really got into his school shooter song. And I was like, ooh, that's fucked up. It's very fucked up, but it's also like, hey man, y'all took his kid from him without any say, not allowing him to say goodbye, not allowing any kind of separation, not allowing consent. And that's an argument I've seen across the internet, and that is informed consent for medical procedures. And the reality of it is a child under a certain age doesn't even have the ability to make informed consent. It would have to go through their parent, and they did discuss it with their parent and or guardian, in this case, Joel Miller. And what they got in response to that was dead it.
And I didn't even think I would have this argument until now, but Marlene was her surrogate parent. She did give consent.
I mean,
but
Marlene literally gave her away when she was a baby and dropped her off at an orphanage. I mean, a military school, but an orphanage nonetheless. Yeah. She was her parent for the distance it took her to get to that federal school. She did not live with her. She did not have a lived experience with her. When she found her later in life, she kept her for I think they established it was about 3 weeks.
Okay.
That's not her parent or guardian.
True. I was just giving a yes and, but
I hear you.
One thing in that last episode that really that I loved, that was like a ooh, was the ladder and the pallets. Like pallets are not a huge part of the game, but like a significant part of the game, and ladders are a significant part of the game. And they finally like had a little like that little mwah to it, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Like I love the game. I love the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they will change because part 2 is so much more violent. Like,
and Neil said he said get ready to see more infected in season 2 because people were complaining they didn't get enough infected, and I argue they had plenty of infected in my opinion, but I guess whatever, people want more.
Yeah, I kind of feel like
if I had any complaint, it wouldn't be I didn't see enough zombies.
Yeah. I mean, that when, like, I watched today, I think, I'm not sure when they posted it, but HBO Max had the making of The Last of Us. It's like a 31-minute, I should have put that on the list. I watched that today.
Nice.
It was a 30-minute making of, and like when they go over the, when they're in Pittsburgh and you see the bloater, like they go over that scene. I'm like, yes. You don't see a lot of that, but at the same time, like what pushes the story is the chemistry between Ellie and Joel, and that's what I mean. Yes, the bloaters and the clickers and stuff are cool, but at the same time, it's like they are what pushes the story. That's what makes you fall in love with them. I'm quite sure somebody has some clicker tattoos and shit like that out there, but it ain't about that.
It's just like the clickers are, I mean, a useful foil, I guess, to have. You know what I'm saying? You got to have something to fight against. But I feel like the reality of it is people are the bad guys in almost all zombie storytelling. The survivors are the people you have to worry about because they be on some wild shit. And that's why I said it's a far more interesting tale to me than the zombies. The zombie part of it is like, who cares?
Yeah,
but
like the upcoming stories are going to be extremely complicated, and will have you having so many different questions. Like, man, like that's. I mean, honestly, as I play it again, I'll have like probably like a clearer answer for myself, but like I didn't really like the ending of the game. Like I kind of felt like remember Bad Boys 2 where like after they save Gabrielle Union, it's like a whole nother hour after that.
That movie is Unga Pachka. It's just far too much extra on top of that. Nobody had to go. You didn't have to go fight in Cuba. You could have wrapped it up when you saved Gabrielle Union.
Yes.
And The Last of Us Part 2 has a similar bit of Unga Pachka in that there's a whole lot extra that just doesn't have to be there.
Yes.
And so you are 1,000% accurate on that tip, man.
So it'd be cool to see what they cut out because I think I sent you articles like they are going to change some stuff. So so we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to a second season. I don't know how long that shit gonna take, but
well, they're already writing it, so I'm hype off of that because that means if they're already in the midst of writing it, then maybe production can start late this year, early next year, and hopefully that means we would get it around this time of year in 2025. And I know that seems so far away, but I know how time flies, and I'm saying, Lord willing, we'll all be here to enjoy that.
Yeah.
As always, like I said, I constantly watch YouTube reactions to it, and another reaction channel popped up on my homepage on YouTube. It suggested, and it was the page is LM Reactions, and there's two young ladies there from Serbia, and they are watching it, and they're starting from scratch. So they just put up their second episode of them watching The Last of Us. They've been watching other shows and stuff like that there. Of course, the Truth Doctor show, I told you, is the therapist, and I put that in the notes last week, show notes last week, is the therapist who watches The Last of Us and gives that kind of perspective. And then I noticed in my like I said, on my little homepage, there's another therapist who's like watching it from that perspective. I'm like, I already got somebody for that. Thank you. But like you said, Good Mythical Morning, as well as in my YouTube formula, of course, Kind of Funny, Games Daily, Kind of Funny breaks down. Oh, so they had a good week of so they have been breaking down every week the Last of Us, but they also ended up doing a full spoiler cast with Neil Druckmann.
Mm.
So both of those came out Monday. They did their regular recap like Monday morning, and then Monday afternoon they got on the phone with Neil, on the Zoom call, whatever, with Neil Druckmann, and they have done spoiler cast with Neil about both games and a lot of other Naughty Dog stuff. So they know Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Neil's like the homie, and in fact, he talked about how at one point, Greg Miller, who is the CEO of Kind of Funny and a host over Kind of Funny and at WWE for that matter, had suggested a particular video game maker. They were going to make a little short, like prequel story that basically would have talked about Ellie's mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they had a game company they were working with it, and it just didn't work itself out. And they never said what the game company was and stuff like that. But I think that would have been dope. There's also some last of comics out there, I guess, that you could read. There's some stories to be had there, so you can kind of know a little more of Ellie's backstory via some comic books. So that's all kinds of interesting things that you can find out if you want to delve yourself deeper into the Last of Us. But also, I'll just tell you, like, and Ant would say, play the games. Just some of the greatest video games ever made in general. But also, if you love this story and don't feel like waiting for like what happens next, then you might as well go ahead and just grab your part 2 or play through part 1 first,
or just go to YouTube and watch a walkthrough because they're available.
See, some people do. Some people probably do that, but I'm of course a gamer, so of course I'm going to tell you to play the game. But Anthony, right? You could go watch a Let's Play and be just fine.
Yeah, because I think like there's options on, like if when you beat the game, you can just watch the story play out. But if you don't want to play the game, which we both encourage that you do, but just watch a walkthrough of it. I'm
gonna put them in the show notes. 3 different reaction channels or whatever. It's these black ladies that had watched the whole series, and they was a delight to watch every week. I promise you, they were so fun to watch, and how they love this story and so forth. So there's a couple of black ladies. So I'm gonna give you 4. I'm gonna give you 4. Because this one is just these 2 black ladies, and one is 3 black, and the other one is 3 black ladies, and there's these 2 Serbian girls, and then the one is of course the therapist. So I'm gonna give you a link to every one of their various. I'll try to give you each one of their episode 1s, and you can decide if you want to watch more of that. I'll put that in the notes, because like those are some of the people I have learned of from watching these recaps. And think I would like to continue to watch, because like I said, the 3 black ladies, they are recapping Mandalorian every week.
Okay.
Which is super fun, So it's a real delight. And like I said, we trying to make sure we share with you guys our YouTube picks as well. So every time we intend to do a shorter show because there's less of us, we still do a long show. I just look down at that clock and I'm like, how did that happen? Anything else, Ant?
No.
Right, then let's go ahead and stick a fork in this one. You know what it is. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show wherever possible. Hit us up, 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We'd certainly love to hear from you. We are very nearly 10 years old. We've been doing this for almost 10 years, and I am excited for that. But because of that, we are trying to reach out to across the board. If you got somebody you think you want us to fuck with, let us know. Let them know, and we will do our best to make it a point to reach out with them. And hopefully before May, when we hit a 10, we will have interacted and kicked with people. So we got some guests coming down the pike, and I'm hyped for that. And just in general, like I said, I want to work with more people, and I want to try to get down with more local podcasts, just because. Got to look out for each other, and I got to look out for the city of Cleveland, because it's what I call home, and even in podcast form. So that's what's up with that. Our missing man is Lunchbox 2099. Please send him some love. I feel like he needs it, and that's okay to do. That is Anthony Animal Thug Tatum.
Hello and good night.
I am the Internet Saver 713. You have just been podcast 2, and I know you loved it. We will catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.